Well, I can tell you it's certainly much easier if you have a will, and I would recommend that every person has a will, especially if you have children, especially minor children at that. There's there's a way in Texas where if you have a simple self-proved will with appointing an independent executor, the process is very simple. You have one court hearing and you're set to take care of all of the estate matters. If you don't have a will, most likely you're going to have to hire an attorney to take you through the whole heirship process. And basically you're defaulting to the Texas statutes at that point to determine who's going to inherit your property. And oftentimes you're going to have to appoint somebody, whether it's a relative or maybe even an attorney, to take care of the estate, make sure all the debts are paid. And it can be a very lengthy process, much more expensive than just having a will. So I would certainly recommend that you would just take the time, hire an attorney to get you a simple and low-cost will. A lot of the situations that people run into if they don't have a will, maybe you have a mixed family, maybe there's multiple marriages, or maybe there's children who were either adopted or maybe they were taken into the home and cared for as if they were a child. So what can happen in that situation if you don't have a will is some of the people that may inherit your property may not actually be those who you would want the property to go to. And it may turn out that not having a will causes more expense and more hassle on their part, and that they may even be left out altogether. So the only way to ensure that your property passes the way you want it to is to have a will. For example, we had an estate where the decedent did not have a will and his property had to pass to his heirs. But he had a situation where he had multiple marriages. He had a daughter who he had taken into his home and treated her as his daughter and raised her as his daughter, but she was in fact never adopted and was not a biological child. And it ended up in that situation that she was not allowed to inherit from his estate. In the same situation, the decedent had also had two children who he adopted out, and they were not part of the family, in fact lived in a different state, but they were entitled to inherit from his estate because of that relationship. So again, just the only way to ensure that your property passes the way you want it to is with a will. If you're considering whether or not you should have a will, it's important to keep in mind that if you do draft a will, you have the power to decide who's going to take care of your estate, and who's going to have authority to distribute your assets and take care of the debts. You also get to decide who exactly receives your property, whether it's a sum of money or whether it's personal belongings. You can distribute in any way that you wish, and your wishes will be honored in that will. You also keep in mind that if you don't have a will, the government is the one that's deciding who gets to take care of your property and where it should go. So if you want your wishes to be honored, you need to put it in writing in a properly executed will.